No, it makes me emotional. I don't know why, man. I don't know why this has this impact on me.
You're listening to the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show, the voice of Grand Canyon hiking. Presented by hiKin, hiking packs and gear built to help you hike your best hike. Here's your guide, Brian Special.
Well, I certainly didn't see that coming. Just an awkward kind of episode for yours truly. You know, it wasn't too long ago that Tom Myers, who has been on this show so many times, asked me if I would have Xena interview me because he said that he was curious about my background and my Grand Canyon history, and he thought it would be cool to learn about it and that others might be interested as well. Of course, as the host of this show, that it makes me a little bit uncomfortable because I try to make it about everyone else. But when Mr. Grand Canyon speaks, I am one to listen. So instead of having Xena do it as my wife, we decided to ask Tom to do it. And that's exactly what he did. He turned the microphone around on me for some, awkward conversation on our way back from our Rim to River down the Tanner Trail a few weeks ago. Uncomfortable to be on the other side of it. Let's just say that. And I guess Tom has a way of making me feel vulnerable and emotional too. But, at the end of the day, that's really what this whole mission is all about. This is the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show, powered by hiKin. I don't know why on earth you want to, why you're curious. I guess that just comes from being an author, but hey, man,
well,
have at it.
So it's been on my mind for a while, especially the first time I ever heard of the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude. I'm like, I love the title. I mean, who's the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude?
Can I talk about that?
What's that?
Can I talk about that before you even ask the first question?
Oh, sure.
Because you say you love the title and you love the name.
I do.
And I do want to address that.
Great. I'd love to hear it.
Because it's not, I wouldn't call it imposter syndrome, but that name, Grand Canyon Hiker Dude. So I was looking for something. Look, I'm a marketing guy. I'm a former TV guy, a former news guy.
Aren't we going to get into that?
We are, but I'm always into promotion and marketing and branding and things like that. So when I decided to do the podcast, I wanted something that was memorable above all else, right?
It is.
It doesn't mean because I say it's the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show. I don't call myself the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude. I do call the podcast the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show. If people want to say Grand Canyon Hiker Dude, and I hear it all the time, and that's fine. It's flattering. It's awesome. But I want to be very, very clear about something, and this is extremely important to me. I do not put myself on any pedestal when it comes to Grand Canyon hiking because there are, and I recognize this, and I just want to make the point that there are so many people who have more experience in the Grand Canyon than I will ever have, that have more experience in the Grand Canyon that I've ever even thought about, that have spent more time thinking about it than I ever will. And I want to honor those people. One of them is sitting right next to me. It's you, Tom. You've done more in the Grand Canyon than I could ever dream about and do in 10 lifetimes. There are people that have done more than I have and have more of an obsession than I do. And I want to recognize that and make sure that people don't think that I am somebody who's calling myself the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude. It is not like that at all. Please, I hope people never think of it like that. It is a moniker, and that's the reason for it.
Well, anybody who listens to even one of your podcasts will know that right out of the gates. I personally, I think it's a genius title. The moniker, like you said, it's great. I find it whimsical. It just kind of like captures my imagination.
Awesome.
And it's so cute, the hiker dude, because hey, he's a hiker dude. It's just kind of funny. It just makes you want to chuckle.
Well, you remember it, right?
You remember it.
That's
if you were
what I
just
want.
like the Grand Canyon hiking show, boring.
Yes.
I
Exactly.
really like the marketing thing, and anybody who listens to your stuff knows you're not like a chest thumper, and like, oh, hey, I'm the coolest guy. Harvey would be crushed by my statistics and hiking and stuff. So no, anyway, so I've been curious about you, Brian. I'd like to hear, first of all, just all right, your childhood. If you could just talk a little bit about that and your parents, and then that introduction to Grand Canyon, and the first introduction to the canyon, I suppose, and then how you became, or how the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show became something you even wanted to pursue.
So you want me to talk for the rest of the podcast now? Is that what you're saying? That's a
Yeah,
lot of
pretty
questions
much.
in one there, Tom.
I know.
But yeah.
All right. Start with your childhood.
My
and your
childhood
parents.
was, it was, just a normal middle-class childhood growing up in Phoenix, Arizona, and growing up in that intense freaking heat that I get more and more tired of every single year. And Zena and I went to the Oregon coast last week, and I think we pretty much decided that's where we're going to end up.
Yeah, but the Grand
because
Canyon
to get rid of this freaking heat, get out of this heat, man, I just despise it. It gets harder to go through Arizona summers every year. But I digress. My dad was into backpacking and into hiking, at least in spurts, I would say. And my mom has always been a Grand Canyon lover and is to this day. They spend a lot of the big anniversaries at the canyon. They have a fifth wheel. They'll pull up in Trailer Village and hang out there for a few days and have dinner at El Tovar and just kind of walk around. It's a spiritual place to my mom, and my dad just goes along with it. And he loves the canyon as well. Would
you give the credit your mom, like say my mom, that made it get under your skin? Maybe?
I think so. I think both of them more than anything because it started for my brother and I. My brother Michael's 2 years younger than me, and it started for us, I think, when my dad was into the backpacking and my mom was doing it too. And, the first time we did rim to rim was in 1986 and I was 13 years old.
That's a serious hike for a 13-year-old.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
But I always say that this was back when you could fly from the South Rim to the North Rim. So that's what we did. And I think it ended. I think that option even ended in 86 or 87. But in 86, it was our family of four and then some family and friends. And we piled into that plane at the Tucson airport, right? And flew from the South Rim to the North Rim and then were shuttled from that airfield. I don't even know where it was.
Wow.
But we were shuttled from that airfield to the North Kaibab Trailhead. And that's how the hike started. That's freaking amazing, man.
Amazing.
A 12-minute flight as opposed to a 4.5-hour shuttle ride that you have to do now if you want to start on the North Rim. So that was pretty cool. And you got the bonus of being able to see the canyon from the air.
Yeah.
So I remember that.
Might have been after that midair collision, but that
was amazing.
That they stopped those. But okay, so here's a question for you. What number are you out of the four? And do your other three siblings have the same?
No, I only have one sibling, my younger brother, Michael.
Oh, the four of you. I'm sorry, your mother and dad.
Yeah.
And then does Michael have the same love for the Grand Canyon that you do?
No, he did rim to rim and he did some other canyon hikes. And we went to Havasupai Falls many times. Man, we probably did that, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, I guess, from the time I was a kid through high school. Back before it was before it was Instagram famous, and the permits and all that stuff. It was a lot easier back in the day. Yeah, it was cheap.
Wow.
It wasn't completely overrun. So we did that and we did the rim to rim, and that was the big introduction to Grand Canyon hiking.
Okay, so you're doing all this outdoor stuff, but then you choose to go into television.
Yeah.
Right? Why didn't you become like a park ranger or forest ranger?
I mean, it was never an overpowering love and desire at that point.
Okay, so you wanted to be in this. I want to hear about the story about your being in television and sports and Charles Barkley, the chuckster.
I told you that story today.
Yeah, I want to. That was great. I want to hear it again.
Yeah, so I became. I remember going in high school and college and going to Havasupai with friends. Did that a few times. But then the canyon stuff and the hiking stuff just kind of went dormant. And, I'm going to college, going to Scottsdale Community College at first and then Arizona State and internships and all that. My first internship, I was 19 years old and I was working in the sports department of the local Fox affiliate, Channel 10. And I remember, I told you this story today, but
it's great.
I got to... I was a young intern who loved the Phoenix Suns, and suddenly I'm working in sports in Phoenix, and so I got to cover the Phoenix Suns. And this is back when 92, 93, when the Suns just went bonkers and Charles Barkley won the MVP and they went to the finals and lost to the Bulls in the finals. But during that year, things got so crazy that they were selling out. They were having open practices in the brand new America West Arena, and they were selling out their practices. So there were free practices, but they would fill the arena.
Wow.
And so the news would cover it like it was this major event. And I'm this little intern. And this one day after the very first open practice they did, they're like, okay, now Brian, you're going to go in afterwards and you're going to interview the players with a photographer. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never asked anybody a question before, done anything like that. And so I'm super, super nervous about this. But the photographer's
you don't seem like a nervous guy.
But at this time, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
right?
sure,
It was my very first time. I never interviewed anybody. And the photographer told me, he's like, don't worry, it'll be a big scrum. There'll be tons of reporters in there. You just got to stick the microphone in there and just, whatever he's answering, the actual reporter's questions. I was like, okay, that made me feel better. So practice ends and we walk in there, my photographer and I walk into the Suns locker room. I mean, this is like sacred ground to somebody like me, a 19-year-old who grows up loving and being obsessed with the Suns and was at that time. We walk in there and it's the Phoenix Suns players all sitting there watching a football game on the TV after practice. And it's me and the photographer. Where are all these other reporters and photographers that are going to soften this blow? Nope, nobody in there. Suddenly, it's just me, and I've got to ask the questions myself. And I'll never forget Charles Barkley sitting there, and he could probably tell that I was nervous, and he's kind of watching the game, not paying attention to me, but he knew I wanted to ask him some questions, and he's just like, I remember, I'll never forget it. He goes, go ahead, man. Go ahead, just like that. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And I don't remember what I asked him, just probably like, well, what was it like out there in front of all those fans today? But I'll never forget how kind he was. Yeah. And that is so on brand to the way he is today. Yeah. Charles Barkley is a national treasure. Yeah. And he was good to me. He didn't have to be. The rest of the players were fine, but Chuck was the big superstar, won MVP that year, just bigger than life, owned the city of Phoenix. And so that was my introduction to being in the media.
Okay. That's a great story. So, all right, you have that, you're 19, and then you got a degree in broadcasting, or you stayed in TV? I mean, what happened next?
I stayed in TV. I became a sports producer and then was
with Channel 10?
With Channel 10, and then I became the executive sports producer at the CBS affiliate, went across town. I was like 21, 22 years old doing this.
Jeez.
Too big for my britches probably at that time. Whoa. Ended up, that job I ended up getting laid off from that job, went back to school, got my degree. And then went in broadcast management.
Okay.
And then decided I wanted to be on the air and took a job as a weekend sports guy at the Fox and CBS affiliate in Monterey, California. Monterey, Salinas, California.
Really?
And I went. And I stayed there for 8 years.
Dang.
And worked my way from the weekend sports guy to the primary news anchor. So I went from sports to news and did that transition. And
jeez.
And that was that's the kind of where my media background started. And I, did a lot of videography and editing and just kind of everything, kind of learned how to do everything in that job. So that served me well.
I do think that it comes out in your podcast. I mean, that's the one thing when I listen to the first one, I go, oh, that guy's a pro.
Oh, thanks.
One, he doesn't stumble and use all those,
I still do plenty of that.
No, I mean, in your voice, it's just like the cadence. It's like, it's perfect for radio and TV. It's like,
Tom, stop it. You're too kind.
No, it's true. So that's part of the appeal. It's like, this guy's the real deal.
Oh, thanks.
But so you did all that. And then you're in San Diego for 8 years, you said?
No, I was in Monterey.
Monterey.
Which is just it's a place you'd want to spend your life, man. It's Monterey, Carmel, Pebble Beach.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
An incredible place to live.
Yeah.
But ended up getting married up there. And then we decided we wanted to live someplace more affordable because it's incredibly expensive up there. Moved to Nashville.
Really?
Then I got into, moved to Nashville and didn't have a job for a couple of months. Knew I needed a job. And this is the craziest thing in the world, man.
If you're stopping every time you need fuel, you're hiking the hard way. hiKin packs put what you need up front with a front access harness and 6 built-in pockets. That means your snacks, water, essentials are always within reach while you keep moving. Our Rim-to-Rim pack and Canyon Elite both carry 25 liters. The Canyon Elite gives you extra support with a hip belt. Hike your best hike at hikin.club. That's HIKIN.club.
Then I fell into firearms reporting. I went from liberal California to Tennessee, and next thing I knew is I was hosting a show on the Outdoor Channel about trick shooting.
Oh, no way.
Yes. And so I suddenly had to become a gun expert.
Really?
And I never knew anything about guns, didn't know the difference between a shotgun and a bow and arrow. And next thing I know, I'm on national TV doing a gun show.
Trying to sound
Never
like
know
an
where
expert.
life's going to take you.
Dang, how long did you do that?
I did that for like 5 or 6 years, because then I learned how to run a production company, and I started my own show, which followed around the
gun show.
My own gun show, following around the best shooters in the world. It was called Hot Shots.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome. But I was never a gun guy, never became a gun guy. But I was infatuated by people who were the best in the world at doing something.
Yeah.
And I still to this day will watch YouTube videos on guys doing competitive shooting, because I just think it's so incredible. They're no
like the guy
than,
from Turkey, whatever, in the Olympics.
Yeah, they're no different than the greatest athletes in the world, but more action shooting than the Turkey guy who just kind of stood there.
Dang, that's amazing. So
crazy.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
You don't seem like
gun guy.
Gun guy. Okay, so then what? You're in Nashville and you decided, I'm going to come back to Phoenix? Is that what you did?
Yeah, I got divorced. I had a kid in Nashville, Franklin, Tennessee, got divorced.
Saxon?
Had Saxon, yeah.
Okay.
And then decided that I had to move back to be closer to family, to help raise the kid. And
you're back?
So moved back to Phoenix.
In broadcasting?
I've been back here since 2015. I was still doing the gun stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then after that is when the wearable blanket stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
From guns to wearable blankets.
Unbelievable.
From Charles Barkley to guns to wearable blankets.
Man, you're a Renaissance guy. You keep reinventing yourself. So
yeah,
tell us about that, the wearable blankets, which is spectacular.
So that was our
that
was our
comfy.
Shark Tank. That was our Shark Tank thing. So my brother and I, just out of the blue, one morning.
Michael's younger than you?
Michael's younger than me, and he was going through a divorce. And he wakes up one morning, he's staying at my house in Phoenix. This is in 2017, so I'd been back in Phoenix a couple of years.
Yeah.
And was still doing the gun stuff at that time. And he was had a pool cleaning business. And he was going through a divorce, and he was staying at my house. He wakes up one morning, and over on the couch is my 7-year-old now, Saxon, and he's wearing one of my old hoodies. And so it's gigantic on him. It kind of swallows him up, right?
Sure.
And he's pulled in there and he's playing his video game. And my brother saw that. Brother's very entrepreneurial and solves problems. And he sees that and he goes, bro, you think they make something like that for adults? I was like, huh? And then he's like, yeah, like a giant oversized like hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, huh. And then there was a blanket lying over the back of the couch. And we just kind of started talking about it. It's like, well, what if we made a giant oversized hoodie out of blanket material?
Wow.
And honestly, that was the light bulb moment. And that is how the Comfy was born. And 7 months to the day after we had the idea, we were standing in front of the sharks on Shark Tank. Everyone told us that we were crazy, that we couldn't do it that fast.
Wow.
But we refused to take no for an answer, and stood in front of the sharks. And in December, that episode aired. And the rest is kind of been history since there. We got to deal with Barbara Corcoran and became one of the top 5 Shark Tank companies of all time. So,
wow. Well, I get to tell you,
ride.
So, Brian, you're talking about humble and kind and generous. You donated how many Comfies at the South Rim?
Just a couple of weeks ago, before Christmas.
Yeah, how many did you donate?
This is my world's coming together, man. This is really cool. It was like
so neat.
I think it was like 1,500 or something like that, but.
And it's so cool because that's the work, a lot of people that work within the park at Grand Canyon, it's working class poor.
Yeah.
There's service industry jobs, a lot of them, the paycheck to paycheck. And it was so neat. The turnout was cool. I mean, the superintendent's there, all these people. It was just a great party. You're handing these out. You're like Santa Claus. And you and Zena and some people helping you. It was really, really neat and so generous. And the Comfy's amazing. I love it. I mean, you gave me one, and some of my family members. I wear that thing every morning, especially in Flagstaff.
I love it.
It's so great. It's so warm, and soft and comfortable. It's everything you would hope a Comfy would be.
That event was important to us, and my brother Michael. I wish he could have been there for that.
Yeah, it would have been
because
nice
he's the one
Michael.
who really made that happen.
Yeah,
approved making that happen, and that cost us money to send all that product up there on an 18-wheeler and stuff like that.
Of course.
So he deserves all the credit for making that happen. I just showed up and with Zena and you and passed them out.
And Michael would probably say the same about you.
Yeah, no. Anyway, we're
good team.
We're a good team of brothers. Yeah. But that event. So what that was we wanted to help out the Grand Canyon community that had gone through so much in 2025 with the fire, the pipeline breaks, the closures.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about
bad.
I hadn't even thought about how, just a couple weeks before, the South Rim hotels had been closed because of another water line break.
Right.
And I honestly, I wish I would have put this together, but I didn't. That so many people, the blue collar jobs, right?
And then
they were out of work for those 2 weeks.
Terrible.
Right before the holidays, right? When you need that income. So they were without income. So that made being able to make people's days a little bit brighter, which is what the Comfy was all about. That's what made that day so special. So this was a day that was not only worlds colliding for me with the Comfy and all the Grand Canyon stuff, the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show, hiking Grand Canyon, now Hike Club Grand Canyon, and the Comfy, but it was also kind of a full circle moment because this is for the Grand Canyon Food Pantry, which does incredible work. Heather with the Grand Canyon Food Pantry does incredible work. She's so passionate about helping that community. It gives me the chills, man. She's in it for the right reasons.
Right.
So we wanted to help them and we wanted to help her. And the only reason that I found out that the Grand Canyon Food Pantry even existed, and I talk about full circle moments, is because of my mom.
Really?
Because she sent me an article about how they were looking for donations in the aftermath of the fire and everything like that. That's the only reason I found out about the food pantry. And the rest is kind of history because we just made it happen, right? And not only that, but we raised money through the sale of North Rim Rising t-shirts and hoodies, which I know you bought one. I know Wes bought one.
Yeah.
And we were able to donate. We decided that they were going to be the beneficiary of that because we didn't just want to send the money to the Grand Canyon Conservancy, who got so much after the fire.
Yeah.
And we didn't just want to send it to someone who it was just going to get lost in the shuffle. So we were able to make that $3,000 cash donation on behalf of our entire community to the Grand Canyon Food Pantry. And I think we did good. I think everyone in the community will be super supportive and happy that that's where the proceeds from those shirt sales went. So that feels good. But to be able to be there for that event on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, and here we are, Zena and I show up at 11:30 and the event's supposed to start at 12, and the place was already packed at 11:30.
Yeah.
We did it out front of the food pantry. They did an incredible job getting the word out. They had some help from the Flagstaff Food Center, and they just did a marvelous job. And to be able to give those Comfies out to the Grand Canyon community and put smiles on people's faces and help them, with gifts to give to family members just 2 days later, it just felt amazing, man. And I think they appreciated it, and we were honored to do it.
Oh yeah, I think in all the years I've been affiliated with, that's the South Rim Village and Tucson and stuff, and knowing all those folks and how the holidays are, that was, I think, the most impactful thing I've ever seen somebody come into the community to do, and to give away all of that and the thousands of dollars to, and it was so generous of you. And same with the North Rim Rising. I know we've talked about that, how sad that is, but okay. So now moving on, and thank you for all that, but moving on. So you got the Comfy thing going. All right. Now, how did the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude sort of come into being? And then, let's talk about Zena. I know she's the other half of that. So go into that.
Well, Zena and I got married in 2000.
And she's a sweetheart, by the way. She's such a nice, kind person. Getting to meet her at the Comfy giveaway.
Yeah, you guys finally got to meet.
Yeah, it was so cool. But yeah, let's talk about
we got married during the early Comfy days in 2018. We've been married for 7 years. Yeah, she's great. She's one of the kindest, nicest people that you could ever come across. And I think you picked up on that. And your wife,
Definitely.
Becky, is too, by the way.
Thank
I think
you.
they would get along.
They're two
they
peas
got to
in a
get together.
pod.
They really are.
The sweetness factor, they both have it, I think.
Yeah. So Zena and I, are doing this whole thing, this Grand Canyon stuff together. And that started, Comfy was going through some tough times back about 3 or 4 years ago, just after COVID. And I had to step away from the business for a little bit. And I was looking for something to do. And I was spending some time up here at the canyon, doing rim to rivers and just kind of learning more about it, kind of reigniting that. I don't know, man. So the impetus was another, a legend in our Grand Canyon community, our Facebook group, and that's Coach Arnie. Arnie Fonseca Jr.
Yeah.
So I hike Black Mountain and have almost every day for the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And on one of these Saturdays, there was this curmudgeon-y dude who with his head down and just kind of, I could tell he was working hard. And I started to see him on Saturdays. And turns out it was Arnie. And I didn't talk to him for a while. He kind of keeps to himself a little bit when he's doing those things. I think I've softened him up a lot, by the way, since then. And he's embraced all this stuff. And he's an incredible dude. And I still hike with him on Saturdays, by the way.
That's cool.
But one day I noticed that he was wearing a shirt that said Grand Canyon rim to rim, or rim to rim to rim, I think it said. And it said, on the back it said, when we started it was dark, when we finished it was dark. And I saw that and I was like, I want to know what that's all about, because that sounds painful and I'm in. I want to know what that's about, right?
Sure.
So I stopped him one day and, we just started talking, and he basically told me that he was a Grand Canyon guy and he had hiked rim to rim to rim. And I think he was training at the time to do the quadruple crossing, which he's done a couple of times now, which is still absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
But I'm not ashamed to say that that's the reason that kind of motivated me and got me to be like, you know what? I need to go start hiking the canyon more.
Mm-hmm.
It's just up the road.
Yeah.
3 hours away from Phoenix.
Right.
And so that was what drove me up there. And so when I was going through the things with the Comfy and I was looking for something to do, I started having all of these problems with my packs. I could never find a pack that I wanted, the cheap Amazon pack. And then I would start to go into the running vests. And I really liked the running vests, especially the running vest features, the front pockets and everything. And I was like, I wonder if we could make something that is similar to that, has those features, but it's a full-size backpack.
Yeah.
And there was really nothing else like it at the time a few years ago. And so I went to, Zena and I were talking about something else that we were thinking about doing. We were going to do another wearable blanket company, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Do I turn here?
Just up here.
All right. We're driving back from Flagstaff. No, we're not driving back to Flagstaff. We're driving into Flagstaff after hiking the Tanner Trail. Do I turn here?
No.
Next one?
Keep going. I'll tell you when.
Okay. Everybody's just along for the ride with us. So Coach Arnie, I'm not ashamed to say, is the guy who drove me back into the Grand Canyon and kind of reignited
for Arnie.
My love for the canyon.
That's cool.
And so Zena and I were looking for something to do business-wise, and we were in our bedroom. It was in the middle of the day, and I brought this up to her, and she knew how much I love the Grand Canyon. I brought this up to her about the packs.
So wait, let me just... So you get back in there because of Coach Arnie, and now you're going, man, it's just captured me.
Yeah.
Was it more intense than when you were a kid?
Absolutely. Because when you're a kid, you're stupid. And you don't even know what you're doing. And you're not doing it for any reason other than...
Because your parents are forcing you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're just falling in love with the place.
So I'm falling in love with the place again. I'll never forget. I went down to... I went to... we drove up, and I was going down to do a rim to river, South Kaibab to... the river, and then back up Bright Angel, the traditional rim to river. And I remember doing that, and my God, it was so hard.
Yeah. What month was it?
It was in April.
Oh, okay. So not super hot.
It wasn't super hot yet, but I just wasn't conditioned for it.
Sure.
And man, it was because I just been doing the 2 or 3 mile Black Mountain hikes and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was hard. Canyon hiking is hard. I mean,
it's hard. Yeah. There's no other way to say it.
No, you can't sugarcoat it.
You can't sugarcoat it.
But that's kind of what started it. And I remember seeing South Kaibab as the sun came up, and I was just like, oh my God. I remember this,
That's awesome.
even though I didn't really remember it. It was just so gorgeous, and I've been obsessed with South Kaibab ever since. Yeah. So anyway, I just started getting back into it, coming up here more regularly. Zena and I had that talk, and I remember when we talked about that, because we were looking for the aha moment, like, oh, that's what we need to do. And I was talking about the canyon and how much I loved it. and how much I wanted to help people hike the canyon. And I thought there was an opportunity to do that. I thought there was a gap in the market, so to speak, where, I could put the skills that I have from TV and the radio days and all that stuff.
Definitely a void in that area, for sure.
In terms of doing, especially in terms of podcasting.
Yes, yours is so unique, but anyway.
So I was like, we could do a podcast and we could create these packs. And I remember she cried.
Really?
She did.
Aww,
because it was like a calling. She's like, that's it.
That's awesome.
That's it. And she could tell. And then I teared up because it's almost like it just unfolded right before us. This is what we need to be doing.
Your passion's obvious. So that's really neat.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it all started. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: with the pack, that actually preceded the actually Hiker Dude podcast, or were they done at the same time?
I don't remember. I think it was about the same time. I think that we kind of had an idea of the direction we wanted to go. Mm-hmm. That the one thing that I wanted to do above all else, yes, the idea for the pack was in the beginning, but that doesn't just happen.
No,
that's a long time, a lot of development and a lot of back and forth and finding manufacturers and designers. And that doesn't just happen. But in the meantime, I know that it was so important to us and it remains the core thing that I am most passionate about. And that's building a community.
It's
the most important thing to me.
I love that.
Dude, I'm going to get emotional.
I know. Me too.
No, it makes me emotional. I don't know why, man. I don't know why this has this impact on me, but it's
such a part of your life, your spirit, who you are.
It's helping people, man.
It is, and
I have this love for the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, you do. It's so cool. We're kindred. Maybe it's because we're born on the same day, 10 years apart.
I'm so passionate, Tom, about.
I love it. That's the reason I love the fact that you are interested in hanging out with me. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm driving and I'm tearing up here, man. But dude, I'm.
So
I don't know what it is about this, because.
Well, you're making a difference.
I don't know if it's a service thing. I don't know what it is, but it's because there's this passion about, it's almost like a knowing. Like, we know what it's like to hike the canyon and we know what it does to us on like a soulful level.
It is. It is, Brian, right? The deep inner, I'm
gonna have to cut all this,
all the way
man. I'm gonna have to cut all this.
No.
But I'm so passionate about sharing that with others.
I love it. That's what's so unique.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when I say, and I say this over and over again, we exist to help people have their best possible Grand Canyon experience.
Well, you know what,
from
Brian?
The heart, man.
It is. I know it is.
It's all I want. It's all I want. I want people to have the same experience. When I go down South Kaibab and there are foreigners and you hear so many languages when you're on the corridor trails, and you know that they're like having this experience that you've had before, and it's almost a sense of, I don't know if it's pride, the fact that you know what they're about to see and they're so excited about it, but there's something about the canyon, man.
Well, you know what? You're making a difference. It is impactful because it can be a life-changing place for so many of us, right? You, me, and so many of the people who listen to your show, and all these people that come from all over the planet, the most amazing landscape on earth. And they invest so much into hiking and stuff. And what you do and Zena, it makes a difference. I think your show is great. And I just think it's so unique. And, it's something that there was a void. It wasn't there years ago. And it's so neat that you've been able to channel all your experience and your energy, especially with your broadcasting and stuff, into making a really quality show. And then your backpack, by the way, your backpack, the new one, what's it called? The Elite.
You've got the Canyon Elite now, Tom.
Yeah, that thing's amazing. That's the best backpack I've ever used.
Oh,
I'm not just saying that.
no, you used it on our Tanner hike today.
Yeah, it was so comfortable and all the cool pockets. And I've used a lot of packs. I've used lots of packs over the years, and Hyperlight and Gregory and Deuter and what's the other one you mentioned? All of those.
All the big ones.
All the big ones. But this one, it was the day pack version, but so it's like perfect. And Wes has fallen in love with the other one.
Oh, your son. Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah.
The Rim to Rim pack, the original Rim to Rim pack.
Wes is he's more of a gearhead by far than me. He loves all this stuff, and he's tried all the different ones too. And he took your pack on the Teton Traverse and doing the Zion, the crossing of Zion and stuff. And then he's done a decay and Rim to Rim, and he's done it, to Mount Whitney. So it's an outstanding pack. It's just fabulous. And I'm going to use it for
thank you
flying and travel and stuff because it's so versatile. But
no, I appreciate the plug, and I appreciate you giving me a chance to regain my composure a little bit here.
Yeah. So,
but you talk about the podcast, and I want to mention something. I know you're not on Facebook, but our Facebook group, and I know Becky's in our group.
Yeah.
But the podcast is one thing, but the Facebook group is where we all connect, and that's incredibly, incredibly important to me. It's now Hike Club Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show, but that's where we all connect. And listen, man, you talk about the backpack. I don't care if you buy a pack from us or not. If you're in our group, and I get DMs and people reaching out to me on Messenger all the time. That's fine. Email me. I will help you. I don't care if you buy a pack or not. I want you to have the best possible experience in the Grand Canyon, and I'm here to use my experience. Again, not nearly as experienced as the guy next to me or a lot of other people, but I've got a lot figured out, especially as it relates to the corridor trails and the rim to rim and those hikes. And I want to help people, man, and I want them to have the best possible experience. And more than anything, I want them to be safe and have the safest possible experience. And there's a lot to Grand Canyon hiking. It's unique, that. And there's a lot of things that, I think that we can help people with in our community. It's not just me, it's people in our community who are in there for the same reasons that I do. Maybe they're not blubbering like I am, but they're in there for the same reasons because we want it. It's a purpose of passion, man. Everybody that's in that group wants to help people just like I do. And it's so awesome to see when people come in there. It's a judgment-free zone. Maybe you've never hiked a canyon before. Most people haven't, that come into our group, and they come in there and they have questions that may seem intimidating to ask in some of the other Facebook groups where it's a lot of look at me. That's not what our group's about. It's about anybody who wants to come in and ask questions, and we will help them have their best possible Grand Canyon experience. I don't know of another way to put it, but it is work of passion and it is work of service. And man, and it's what it's all about. It's what it's all about. The Grand Canyon Hiker Dude podcast, I hope, stands the test of time, and that even if we stop doing it years from now, I hope it's here 20 years from now, 50 years from now, because it's timeless advice in a timeless place.
Yeah.
Right. And I hope it lasts. You're a huge part of it. You've been on our show so many times and given us your time and your expertise. And that means the world to our community, because you've got the chops, man. You've got so much, and you're the most humble person that I know. And it's people like you that make it go, and people like our, the people that are in our group. And I'm just kind of the conduit who's kind of trying to bring it all together in service of those who want to have their best possible Grand Canyon experience. That's it, man. Simple as that.
Well, I just want to give you a line that Kenton Grua used on me years ago when I first met Kenton. And he's the first person to walk end to end. And I did what you did. You're very, very humble about your experience. And Kenton asked me my experience, and I had nothing compared to him at the time. Very little. And
he's a legend.
Yeah, he is. And he was a nice man. I wish you could have met him. He was a good guy. Anyways, and I said, I haven't done anything like you, Ken. I've only, I hiked the corridor trails, and, some of the other things. I've been on a couple of river trips. He goes, you know what, Tom? Doesn't matter. We all have roles in this place. And it's nice to know you're on the rim as a doctor to take care of something happens. We have roles. Your role, you're filling such a great void Brian. And I'm so happy about it. I'm just tickled about it. And I think your legacy will live on for a long time, and your passion is there. It's so obvious, and that's your role. And it's so cool that you found it. You and Zena have made this happen, and I'm super grateful. I know everybody who listens to you and uses your pack and, is wearing the comfies and all that stuff, especially up there in the South Rim, super grateful that you're here on the planet. You make the world a better place. And thank you.
God, Tom. Let me blubbering again, man. Thank you.
Love you, man.
Means the world.
Thank
Love
you for
too, my friend. Thank you so
in
much.
my life and, part of the canyon.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Coming from you, it means the world. Thank you. Well, that was something. Thanks to Dr. Tom Myers for turning the mic around on me and doing a pretty good job at it, I would say. I think that kind of shows the depth of the relationship that Tom and I have developed over the last couple of years. Man, he just feels like a good friend, and he was able to make me vulnerable, emotional. I think Zena was probably taking notes. But anyway, I digress. That was an interesting experience, and I hope most of you made it to this point in the podcast. All right, Coach Arnie time. Arnie Fonseca Jr., our resident exercise physiologist, and his training tip of the week. And this time he's talking about something that is also important to me personally, because as I've gotten older, I found that my performances are declining. I'm 53 now, and I'm not as fast as I used to be, and don't have the endurance maybe that I used to, and it's very difficult. I find it very difficult to give myself grace, and that's what Arnie's talking about this time.
This week's tip is something that Brian and I have talked about, and others have mentioned it in their own post concerning their own training, but it has to do with what I would call grace, especially for anybody that's following a rigid program. Because one of the things that I'm doing as I develop my course that hopefully will be available sooner than later is that you have to be aware of people. And I always have a rule that I wrote about many, many years ago when I was teaching a course in college. It was that the number one rule was that there were no rules. And you might think, well, that's kind of crazy. But in reality, we are in a situation where we're kind of creating our own rules, and we have to look at our own bodies, our own situation. And I want you to get there by asking yourself 3 questions. Number 1, how's my health? Number 2, how's my fitness? Number 3, how's my mindset? And if you can give yourself honest answers with those 3 questions, you're going to be on your way to what I would say giving yourself some grace, because all of us, mistakes are going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen, but they are all opportunities to learn and grow. And lastly, I love you guys, all of you. And all I want is for you to create a great canyon memory. Just remember that. A great canyon memory. Talk to you later.
Wise words as usual. That is Coach Arnie Fonseca Jr. He is an exercise physiologist and canyon coach, and his contact information, as always, is in the show notes, and his phone number is in there as well. And if you call him, he's either going to answer the phone or he's going to call you back. Talk about old school and what a gift he is to our Grand Canyon community. All right, that is it for now. My name is Brian Special, encouraging you, as always, to go hike the canyon. You can do it. Take the first step, embrace the journey, and when you get there, whether it's for time goals or taking your time, just hike your own hike and enjoy every step in the majestic Grand Canyon. We'll see you next time on the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show, powered by hiKin. Support the brand that supports this show at hiKin.club. That's HIKIN.club.